Workplace politics. It is the use of power and social networking which allow to interact with other users within the organization to achieve the change that will benefit the organization or the individuals within it. The influence by individuals can give personal interests and advantages without thinking about the organization itself. Some of personal advantages can be intangible. For example, for intangible assets such as status, which can affect someone's behavior. On the other hand, workplace organization can increase efficiency, form an interpersonal relationship, gain profit for the organization and its members. When there is pro, there must be cons. The cons is both individual and group can involve in workplace politics, which highly destructive because people is more focused. Self-serving politic action can negatively influence our social groupings, cooperation, information sharing, and many other organizational functions. Thus, it is better to pay more attention to organizational politics and create the right political landscape which can benefit both individuals and organizations.
Definition of equity theory. This theory focuses on determining whether the distribution of resources is fair to both relational partners. It measured by comparing the input or outcomes ratio of themselves. Elements of equity theory. There are two elements in equity theory, which is input and outcome. Input is things that an individual does to receive output, such as skill, reputation, performance, and effort, while outcome is a result of their inputs to the organization, which is pay, promotion, bonus, pension, and recognition. Equity and employee motivation. This theory explains that the higher an individual's perception of equity, then the more motivated they will be. Individuals seek to maximize their outcome and start to compare their inputs and outcomes with the others. For example, the employees of similar position will tend to compare among themselves on their inputs or outputs ratio. Employees have to believe this theory. They cannot keep comparing themselves with others. They should adjust and make their input or outcome balance to perceive equity.
The next one is inequity and employee motivation. The perception of equity and inequity affect the employee's motivation that will lead them to experience negative emotions like inequity tension, especially when they are under-rewarded or over-rewarded. When facing inequity, people will tend to be more motivated to reduce the inequity tension. There are 7 ways to do so. First one is to reduce input to match the outcome of the higher paid workers by working slowly, giving less suggestion and less engagement in OCB. Second one is to increase outcomes by making unauthorized use of company resources. The third one is to increase the comparison, others input by asking the higher paid worker to do larger shares of the work. The fourth one is to reduce comparison, others' outcome, or to ask equal pay from the company. The fifth one is to change our belief in the situation. And the sixth one is to change comparison other by comparing yourself with the people around you. And the last one is to leave the field.
Next is equity sensitivity. This refers to the outcome or reaction of the people with others. There are 3 types of individual differences. Firstly is benevolent. This is where people are tolerant and can accept the situations that they are underwarded. Secondly is equity sensitives. They prefer to have equal outcome and don't mind if others receive more. Thirdly is entitled. This is when people receive more than others but also accept having equal outcome. Next is evaluating equity theory. It is said to be successful at predicting problems in terms of unfair distribution of pay, and also rewards. However, there are some drawbacks in this theory. First, it does not identify the comparison. Second, it does not indicate relevant outcomes. And third, it only considers some feelings of fairness. An open communication will enable the employees to let decision makers know when unfair decision is made.
The term distributive justice refers to fairness in the way things are distributed, caring more about how it is decided who gets what rather than what is distributed. In modern society, this is an important principle as it is generally expected that all goods will be distributed throughout society in some manner. In a society with a limited amount of resources, the question of fair allocation is often a source of debate and contention. Within organization, both employer and employee can be expected to have concern about justice. Obviously, employees prefer fair treatment over unfair treatment because unfair treatment can have powerful effect on job satisfaction, quality of work life, and organizational effectiveness. Distributive justice pertains to an employee perception of fairness in decision outcome and resource allocation. Distributive justice is strongly correlated with job satisfaction and pay satisfaction, which is in turn can be said to be strong element of employee engagement. An organization must be cognizant of effort made by leadership and management to ensure that it shows legitimate concern for employee regarding the distributive outcome that not only the employee themselves receive but those received by their colleagues.
Workplace politics can be solved using distributive justice and equity theory. One of the ways to solve the problem is by keeping the employees motivated regardless of the job and position. To keep employees motivated, it is important to keep balance in the input and output. For the example of input, reputation, performance, effort, and skill. An example of output is salary, promotion, leave, recognition, and pension.